Hi everyone, welcome back to Crafting at Whimsy Wonderland. My name is Stacy. Today I have a fun summer DIY for you. It is a Dollar Tree DIY, and I'm going to be using one of these signs to do it. Now the first thing I did is I scraped off all the glitter, and I found with this sign, if I take a regular metal putty knife that's been sharpened fine to a point on the edge, that I can just scrape all that glitter off, and that's what I did. And then I painted it with an off-white color, just because I'm going to be decoupaging napkins on top of here, and the U was still visible and whatnot. You could flip it over and use the back side. And I went ahead and painted the jar lid to look a little bit more galvanized, and I did that by like sponge painting 3 different colors of gray and a little bit of black on there, and then I rubbed a few little rusty spots. The texture that you're seeing was made by tracing the jar lid lines that are already on the jar with the Tulup Puffy Paint. Make sure you let this dry really well before you put any paint on it, or it will peel off. Okay, so anyway, it's Tulup Puffy Paint. I got this at Michael's. I do not remember how much it cost. So here's what it looked like with just the puffy paint on it. I might do another. I was thinking about making this a 2-sided sign, but I don't know if I'm going to do that or not. Go ahead and paint it up how you like it. I just like the texture of the puffy paint, and it just makes it look like an old-fashioned jar lid. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm using these napkins that I purchased at Dollar General. You can use scrapbook paper, which is what I was originally going to do, but it had a green background. I didn't really like it. I wanted it to be brighter. So when I saw these, I grabbed them. They were only $1. And the only problem with these is that they're only printed in one section. So I went ahead and cut off that section, and I cut 6 napkins because I'm not sure how many it's going to take. I kind of want to match my pattern, so I'm not sure how many it's going to take. And then I got this other package also for $1 from Dollar General. It just says Hello Sunshine, and I cut it out. And that's going to go over the top. So this one's going to go away for a little bit till we need it at the end. Okay. And then when I got to looking at my napkins, I see that the easiest one to look at is this leaf right here. And that's the way that I will be lining up the next one, the next napkin. Oh, and also I peeled off, their napkins are 2 layers, and I peeled the layers apart. I didn't think you needed to watch me do that, but I haven't done this one yet. There's always a plain white backing on a napkin. So you just peel those apart. Be very gentle. You don't want to rip your napkin, okay? Just peel it gently. And it comes apart, and then you're going to use the colored part. Okay, next thing to do. Be generous with your Mod Podge. And put it, I'm going to be covering up this entire piece, so I'm not worried about getting any of the Mod Podge onto the gray. I'm okay with that. You want to be kind of generous. There are different ways, different people do different ways with their napkins when they're decoupaging. I find once you put a napkin down, you may not reposition it. Once it gets wet, it will tear if you try to move it. So I'm just going to put a good coat of Mod Podge on the whole piece, and I want it to be thick so it doesn't dry on me super duper fast. Okay, then I'm going to take my napkin and I'm going to line it up at the top because I don't want the napkin going over the gray. Alright. And then I'm just going to carefully push it down. Try not to drag your fingers so much as push your fingers on it, because you don't want to tear it. Napkin decoupaging is different than decoupaging with regular paper. Okay, so now I have, I need to look and see where my pattern is going to line up, and I don't like that pattern lining up right there. I could match the patterns, or I can just stick it down you decide what you want to do. I'm being a little more fussy about it than I normally would be. And so I'm going to match up my leaf and push this down. Now you can trim this or you can leave it. And I think I'm going to leave it just because I kind of want that extra little texture in there. So I'm going to take a good brush full of Mod Podge and very gently under the napkin where it's overlapping, just going to put the Mod Podge down, and I'm going to press it down. And if I have overlapping parts, that's okay. In my book, I'm okay with that. Okay. Now this napkin I have cut in half because where I need to place it is in a hard spot. Okay, so I'm going to carefully trim, because remember, I don't want the napkin attaching itself to the gray part. I won't ever be able to get that off. If you have a piece of cardstock paper, you know, that is definitely the easiest way to go. Something that's 12 by 12, or a napkin that's printed on all 4 sections is an even better way to go. Okay, so I'm just going to make sure that where it overlaps, I've got extra Mod Podge there sealing it down. Okay, I've got need a little under here. Again, you could cut these, you could just put them down and let the lemons fall where they may, but I'm being particular today for some reason. I'm not usually particular, but today I am being that way and I don't know why. Okay, if a napkin starts really moving around on you, stop messing with it because it will tear. And if you've got parts of your napkin curling up, you want to make sure to get some fresh Mod Podge underneath of there, because you want everything glued down smooth before you lay another napkin on top. Okay, and I gotta figure out where this one's gonna fit, and that one fits right there perfectly. Okay, I'm gonna make sure that I've got plenty of Mod Podge, being very gentle if I'm brushing over the napkin that's already laid down. Lining up my pattern. And gently pressing down. Trying not to drag my fingers, but man, it's hard not to do that. That's what I've got so far, and I'm going to let this completely dry before I go any farther. The first layer of Mod Podge is dry on my jar. And so now what I'm going to do is go ahead and trim off this excess, and you can do that in a couple of ways. You can use a scissors or a craft knife and just cut it off if you want to do that. You would actually want to cut it more carefully than I'm cutting right now. Oh, please disregard my worksheets here. I'm a teaching assistant and that was our first grade lesson. It was handy. I needed some paper. So I'm going to take some sandpaper. I get this at the Dollar Tree. It comes in a pack with a bunch of sheets. And this is 100 grit. And I'm just going to sand off the edge, and that's going to give me a perfect cut of all the extra paper that's on here. You never want to go from the back to the front because that's going to pull your paper away. You can go side to side, or you can go straight down from top to bottom. Okay. Some of the spots where the Mod Podge oozed over the edge are a little harder, so you got to put a little more effort into those. You could also use a fingernail file for this. I have some nail files here from the Dollar Tree. These will also work to get the edge clean. Alright, so then I have a nice clean edge. Now I'm going to coat the whole thing, including the lid, with Mod Podge. Now, if you remember, I have this Hello Sunshine that I cut out. I think I want to go ahead and Mod Podge down the white part and then put the yellow part on top of it, just so you can read it a little bit easier. I think that that will be a better way of doing it. Now I just need to set that aside to dry, and once it's completely dry, we'll take a look at that label on there and see if anything needs to change. So after this dried, I could not even read Hello Sunshine on there because it was just too pale with all the lemons and things behind it. So I went ahead and outlined it with a Sharpie, and then I decided I wanted the letters to be solid because this is going to be up on top of my cupboards in my kitchen, and I just want it to be able to be read. So I traced it all in Sharpie, and now I'm just coloring it in. And I did take a little outline with my fine tip Sharpie around where the yellow was on the Hello Sunshine napkin. Okay, so now I've got Hello Sunshine all colored in. I don't think it looks too bad in black. The next thing I want to do is take some jute, and I'm going to wrap around the lid of the jar several times. I want to make sure that I leave myself plenty of room for tying a bow in the middle. So I'm just going to hold over on the edge, and I'm going to go around. I think that's 5 times, 4 times. 1, 2, 3. This is the 4th one. Okay, and then I'm going to cut over here, and I'm going to tie a knot, and I'm going to do this off to the side because I have, actually let's tie a knot first. That'll keep everything secure. Okay, now somewhere I have a ton of these left over from last year. They did the mason jar mugs, and they did lemonade, and I took a bunch of them apart and cut off the handles, and that was before they started making mason jar signs that were just mason jars. So I have a bunch of these around, but they would require painting. But I also have these that I picked up at the Dollar Tree last week, and this is what I'm going to use. So these have a little, these are wooden stickers, and they have a little foam square on the back. I probably won't use that foam square because it won't be sticky enough, but what I want to do is take one of these and color it into being a lemon. You know, for Mother's Day I got this wonderful set of Arteza water-based ink markers. They're called Twi markers. I was in charge of doing the order for our classroom at school, and I work in the Title I departments. We have kids that come in that are behind in reading and math, and we work with them, and we often use whiteboards and dry erase markers and whatnot. And we were getting our dry erase markers from another distributor, and they were costing us, for a set of 18, like $24, and it was just crazy expensive. So since I was put in charge, I decided to give the Arteza dry erase markers a try. And They were like $12 for 32 or 36 or something like that in a box. They have a little magnet on them. In fact, I have one here because I'm doing online classes. These little guys, they're small, and I thought, well, they're small, they're probably going to dry out fast. I usually change out my markers because either the tips are smushed or they're dried out. I change them out right when we get back from Christmas break, and I have to change them out again when we get back from spring break usually. So I usually change them out 2 to 3 times a year. I kid you not, I have only had about 4 of those Arteza markers dry out on me in this entire school year. I still have over half of a box that I kept for my personal things, my personal lesson packages. I still have over half a box that has not even been opened yet. And to spend half of what we've been spending on dry erase markers for an entire year, that's pretty awesome. So thank you, Arteza, for your high quality markers. They're great. So I'm hoping that these watercolor markers will be just as fabulous. Okay, so there I have a little lemon. I just left the little white part alone so that it's on its own. It kind of looks a little bit like a flower. It's going to go on there. I'm going to go ahead and color one more. So the colors that I used were, I used the lemon yellow on the outside edge, and I used the bumblebee yellow on the inside. These are very nice tips. And oh, I forgot to show you. These are double tipped. So this one's a teeny tiny little fine tip. I don't even know if you can see that. See how teeny tiny that is? And then this is the broad tip or, or brush tip. This is the bumblebee yellow that I'm coloring the middle segments with. I'm going to leave this. I should have left the sticky on that one. I'm going to put a line of glue down the middle, and I'm going to glue my piece on there, and I'm going to cover it with the other one. Sandwich it in there. Bring it back up. Just going to kind of wrap it around a little bit and sandwich it in there. And then I've got a cute little charm. After I've sandwiched the colored lemon pieces, jute twine in there, I went ahead and took the scrap and I tied it around here with a little bow. I did save the hanger, so I'm going to go ahead and use this hanger. Feed the little plastic piece through. Pull it back tight. I don't know why, I just like the beads on things lately. I think it just adds a little element of cuteness. I'm going to go for 10 here and see what it looks like. 5 on each side. Yeah, I think that'll look cute. I want the beads to be up off of the jar lid, so 10 is just right. So that makes them 15 millimeters. Yeah, they're 1.5 centimeters, which makes them 15 millimeter beads. All right, there you have it, my lemonade mason jar project. Hello, sunshine. This is napkin decoupage, napkin applique decoupage. I learned a few things. I don't do napkins very often, so I had to really think about that one. If you don't want things to bleed through and you want to use this Hello Sunshine, I would put a piece of white cardstock decoupage down and then put down your Hello Sunshine napkin. That would have given me the white lettering that I was wanting. Okay, so don't use just the white of the napkin. It's not enough to block out the green and the yellow. Okay, so white cardstock. All right, let me know what you think of this project in the comment section below. Give it a thumbs up if you like it. If you don't like it, give it a thumbs down. Anyway, let me know if you need to see another tutorial on how to paint that galvanized look on the lid. If you do, I can make a tutorial up for that. But there's so many tutorials out on YouTube right now. One of the best ones, I think, is Crafts by Caitlin. She does a really good job, and she paints galvanized stuff a lot. So check out her channel if you want a tutorial on how to do that, or if you want me to do a tutorial on that, then let me know. Also, I think it's Yami at the Latino Next Door also has a good tutorial on painting galvanized. So anyway, let me know what you're thinking of it, whether you like it or not. This has been Crafting at Whimsy Wonderland. Thanks for stopping by. I'll see you next time.